understand why everybody thinks he's got no chance, because in his mind, he absolutely has a chance. And having that confidence, that mentality, you know, it is important. He might not win, but do you think there's a chance that he could cause some problems in there on Saturday that we maybe don't expect?
In all fairness, I don't think he's. See, it's not just about punching hard, which he clearly can do. You have to create those opportunities, and he might not have the boxing awareness to do that in the ring. You know, setting traps, slipping punches, parrying punches. We don't know if he can do that.
The one thing you have to remember about Francis Ngannou is the sort of stuff that we're saying there about, it's 1 in a million kind of thing. It was 1 in a million for him to leave Cameroon. It was 1 in a million for him to survive being homeless on the streets of Paris, eating rats, going from homeless shelter to homeless shelter. 1 in a million, really, for him to become an MMA fighter, a UFC world heavyweight champion. He is used to defying those odds.
Very much so, and credit to the man for everything that he's achieved in his career. You can only take bow to him, you know what I mean? And I wish him well, you know, I wish him well in everything that he does. But, you know, with regards to boxing ability, Tyson Fury is not #1 in the world for nothing. If it was role reversal and Tyson went to his discipline, it'd be very similar, you know what I mean, role reversal.
Well, he's making us wait, but we're going to see him let his hands go in just a minute. We were saying earlier on that when you see someone with real top-level power hit the pads, it makes a different kind of noise. It's that sharper explosion of air, that ping sound rather than a thud. I mean, you've been around this a long, long time. Who's the most explosive puncher you've seen on the pads or taken on the pads?
Currently, I train a young lad called Lewis Crocker, and he is a ferocious puncher. He actually hurts your hands on the pads. He's a ferocious puncher. But I remember, it must have been about 15 years ago, Jimmy Tibbs used to train Wayne Alexander.
Yeah.
And we were down in the Lennox Lewis Centre down in, I think it's called Lewisham. A Clapton or something.
It's a Clapton, I know it.
It was a great facility for boxing. And I had the privilege to watch Wayne Alexander on the pads with Jimmy, and it was like being in a shooting range. Ka-chung, ka-chung. Oh, the right hands were frightening. Absolutely a ferocious puncher.
Well, look, Francis Ngannou has now gloved up. We are so used to seeing Francis Ngannou with very, very small gloves on. Look at the size of them, and that is the difference between MMA and boxing. I mean, how big are those gloves do you think he's got on there?
I think they're 16s he's got on.
Yeah.
I think they're 16s. I mean, I believe that is it 4-ounce gloves that they wear?
Correct, yeah.
So even he's going to wear a 10-ounce glove in the fight, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know, that, you know, for all the power that he does produce, that'll decrease a little with wearing a slightly bigger glove, obviously. And keeping those gloves up. Keeping 4-ounce gloves up would be a bit easier than 10s, obviously.
So these will be heavier gloves to keep up. So it will tire a fighter out keeping them up.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I can see why they're using the sticks to replicate the longer reach, which is a good tactic.
Yeah, I guess they are replicating the long range, the jab of Tyson Fury. And I guess we're having a look at what Francis Ngannou can do with his head work, right? With his movement.
It looks good. It looks good. Good lateral movement. Elbows are a wee bit out, but you know, very good. You know.
Well, here we go. Here is the pads that people have been waiting for. guy?
I mean, it's kind of impossible to tell, really, because, like we said before, hitting a punching machine is one thing. Being able to land solid on someone who's on the move is another. I mean, one thing that trainers do say, and I mentioned it earlier on in the evening, is that if you catch somebody clean with one they don't see, then anyone can go. But the problem is catching Tyson Fury clean with one he doesn't see, because Deontay Wilder's put him down 4 times but hasn't been able to put him away. So when you assess all of that, it is the tall task that we thought it would be for Ngannou. But I'll just be interested to see if he can give us something a little bit unexpected on the night.
What I would say, looking at him hitting the pads there, he throws a body shot with a very straight leg, and for a man that punches very hard, if he dipped his legs a little more, he'll generate a lot more power. But watching him with 16-ounce gloves on, you know, he's got reasonable hand speed.
Well, Billy Nelson, we're going to let you go. Thank you so much for your insight. And I think you only mentioned Martin Bakole once, so well done, well done, Billy Nelson. Thank you so much. Well, that was the insight of a boxing trainer, Billy Nelson. What do you make of what you're watching right now, Andy Clark?
It's really interesting to watch him, you know, really interesting, because when he was doing that kind of routine on the pads, he tapped the jab, then go up with the jab, then look to throw the right hand, and he was slightly hesitant. I think he's aware really that this kind of stage he's on at the moment, he's kind of feeling his way a touch, and that's always going to be the case when you've not been at this all that long, because swapping over to boxing from MMA would be like doing it the other way around. And what could we realistically expect Tyson to achieve if he stepped into the octagon?
Hey, listen, if you ask him,
onto Ngannou's home turf. I know what he'll say if you ask him, but he's not. These people are not always the greatest judges of their own strengths, to be honest with you, because they think they're amazing at everything.
Yeah,
that's partly why they get to where they get to.
No, absolutely. And the point I was referring to there was actually at the very end of the first launch press conference in London. It was quite friendly, but it started getting a little bit spicy the moment Tyson said that he can actually beat Francis Ngannou in a cage as well. And I don't know, look, he might even try that one day. In the wild career of Tyson Fury, do not rule out seeing him in an octagon, in a cage one day.
No, I mean, I wouldn't rule it out. You wouldn't rule anything out with him. He's the kind of character who seeks new experiences, but I would advise against it for exactly the same reason that this is going to be very hard for Ngannou. That would be extremely hard for Fury. It just would. And boxing it's kind of amazing how in these crossover events, kind of we get to, you know, our game, our rules. You know, that's how it generally turns out, isn't it? But I've got all the respect in the world to him for doing it. I know he's going to get phenomenally well paid for this, but when you get to that level of the sport, yes, the money does matter. It's always important because you want to get paid what you're worth, and we're talking about money here that could be life-changing for future generations of Ngannou. But at the same time, you're in there for the glory and to win. That's what you're there for. So, as Bunsey said, he absolutely does not think that he is going to lose this fight. It's not the same, but I remember when Canelo boxed Bivol, and people were making Canelo quite a heavy favourite, and Bivol just couldn't. He literally couldn't understand it. Like, why are you all mad? Like, why would you think that?
Yeah.
Like I say, it's not the same, but Ngannou has got that champion's mindset where, in his mind, he is going to win.
Well, we are about to speak to the man they call the Predator, an absolute unit of a man, the one and only Francis Ngannou. Francis, how are you, sir? How are you? Good to see you.
Your face too much.
I know. I'm everywhere. Please. Well, so you've seen my face everywhere, but I tell you.
Can somebody help me with my gloves, please?
Have you? How do those gloves feel?
Huh?
How do the gloves feel?
Feel pretty good.
Yeah.
I love them.
A lot bigger than what you're used to, right? I mean, how do you feel in terms of when you actually hit something? Does it still feel the same?
Even in MMA, we use a big glove for training, for sparring. We are very protected when we spar because we need our opponent and to be safe, and ourselves too, because we have a lot of risk of injury, and every kind of injury, knee, elbow, shoulder, everything. So we protect ourselves pretty good.
What were you trying to show us in there today? What were you trying to show the public?
Nothing. I was just having fun.
I knew it.
I almost wanted to just dance. Then I realized that I will show them my dance skill. And I'm like, nah.
You can show us now if you like.
No. I don't have any. I mean, just a little, but not too much.
No, you don't want to give too much away, do you? It's what I wonder is, do you feel that in the build-up to this, you've been shown the respect you deserve by the boxing community, or do you feel, we're boxing people, do you feel that in general boxing has not shown you enough respect?
Well, let's be honest, I haven't gained any respect from boxing community, so I'm not expecting anybody to respect me. I think I need to gain my own respect, to claim my own respect. You know, respect is not given. You don't just walk around and demand for people to respect you for no reason. I think respect is earned, and I'm gonna earn my respect, whether it's in the boxing community or in life in general. That's my goal, to earn my respect.
There seems to be an opinion from the boxing public that what you're going to do is follow Tyson around and just try and land that big punch. But I think there's going to be a bit more than that, isn't there, Francis?
Well, they're going to find out. I think people have a right to think. There's 8 billion people on Earth, so you have to understand it's 8 billion opinion. But there's only one opinion that's going to matter. There is mine. So people have a right to think, and you can control people of having an opinion. You know, yes, I'm going to fight, and if that big shot comes, yes. If it doesn't come, I really intend to fight properly.
You've spent your whole life making the impossible possible. Is it possible for you to beat Tyson Fury on Saturday night?
Everything is possible. Everything is possible. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. In fact, see where we are talking about Tyson Fury. We would have believed that a couple years ago. Even last year, we would have believed that. But here we are talking about that fight that is going to happen in 3 days. So it's quite possible.
Absolutely incredible speaking to you, Francis Ngannou. Thank you so much. We're going to lose you. Got the fist bump in the end. Let's go back to our MC, patiently waiting, Thomas Schreiber.